So the awards we're giving tonight are the Tappies and the Crappies. Our chapter began giving these awards last year to people and organizations who are making a difference to our public water, our tap water, our rivers, our groundwater, for good or for ill. And we're starting tonight with the Tappies, and I'd like Catherine Hay to come forward and present these. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you, Penny. It's a huge honor for me to be presenting these two Tappie Awards to two local activists, Rafe, Mair and Damien Gillis. These two have made a huge contribution to the protection of our province's water. Damien through his documentaries and Rafe through his journalism and radio broadcasting. They're a boon to activists of our province. Damien's documentaries have brought water issues to a vivid reality for British Columbians, as well as for international audiences at various film festivals. Two of his series of documentaries, the Power Play series and the Rivers at Risk series, showed us two extremes: the beauty of BC's rivers and streams and the merciless destruction of them by independent power projects, which have claimed an astonishing 600 plus BC rivers for private power. Damien's lens also turned to the life within these streams in his documentaries Farmed Salmon Exposed and Dear Norway Help Save Canada's Wild Salmon. Rafe Mair has been stirring up controversy in BC for a long time. If you haven't read him, you've probably heard him. He has a long and varied career as a lawyer, a journalist, politician, a political commentator, author, and radio broadcaster. He's written several books and has had countless speaking engagements, is featured in many of Damien's documentaries, and has a regular spot in CBC's Vancouver political panel. So Rafe and Damien were each working independently until early 2008, when they both found themselves working with a group called Save Our River Society, a small group that was fighting to protect BC's rivers and public power. I was also volunteering for Save Our Rivers at that time, and we were getting these awesome videos from Damien. And then we were thrilled to get Rafe as our spokesperson. Rafe went on speaking tours across the province on our behalf to talk about the theft of our rivers by private power producers. And suddenly the turnouts became huge, and the press started taking notice, and finally the issue was being talked about in the mainstream media. His high profile was exactly what we needed to get some attention. That's when Rafe's and Damien's paths crossed and they joined forces. They've been crusading for the protection of our water ever since. Since the Save Our Rivers days, they have co-founded the online journal, The Common Sense Canadian, which has written audio and visual contributions from Damien and Rafe, and a long list of other contributors that looks like a who's who of respected BC activists, including our chapter's own Eric Doherty. In this forum, they are keeping the private power issue alive, as well as other issues like farm salmon, food security, rivers, and oil tankers. Rafe and Damien have taken issues that are a key part of our mandate, and they've given them the visual elements and the high profile that these issues deserve, which is a nearly impossible achievement for grassroots activist groups like us. And for that, we are grateful. So if Damien can come out from behind his camera for a moment, I'd like to present this year's Tappie Awards. Rafe Mair unfortunately can't be with us tonight, so I'll ask Damien to accept on his behalf.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I'm just going to say a couple of quick words, and then we'll get on to this very exciting presentation we have tonight. First of all, it's an honor to receive this award from Council of Canadians, who we often had the pleasure to work with on these issues, particularly around the privatization of water. I think that's an area where we both Rafe and I and many of the council chapters across the country are very focused on, and so we look forward to continuing to work with folks like members of the Council of Canadians and people in this room to continue to cover these issues. And I think if you look at all the different key environmental challenges that we face in BC, many of them relate back to water, including the one that we're going to hear about tonight, or the private river power issue, salmon farms. Water is really, as I've described and really hope to try to frame in my films consistently, is the most important environmental and public policy issue, not just here but in the world going forward. And we hear more and more about, just recently, saw a report that suggested one of the big glaciers that feeds Bolivia's water supply is pretty much gone now within the last several decades, and without that they will pretty much have no drinking water. So and we see these issues hitting close to home right now. We hear about the privatization and commodification of drinking water in BC, and in conjunction in some of the same places where these private river power projects are happening. And I guess just in closing, Rafe and I are both media people, and we feel that one of the things that's really been lacking in our ability to address these important environmental challenges is a mainstream media that really does the job of the Fourth Estate of protecting the public interest in the way that Rafe and his colleagues used to do in this province. And I think they saw that as their responsibility. They held governments to account, whether they were left or right or whatever. That was the job of journalists, and we just don't see that today in this province. So I think a lot of that has fallen to other people and to alternate media outlets like ours and the Tyee, and the work of people like the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives and Ben, who you're going to hear from tonight with the reports that they put together. And I just encourage everybody in this room to be a part of that. I think we need to heed the call of to be our own media. And I think if we don't get good information into the hands of good people in this province, we're not going to be able to address these challenges. So I hope that we can do that. And I just we're on our way up. This is kind of timely this evening. Where myself and Fiona Rayer, who's also in the audience tonight filming, and Caleb Ben, who you're going to hear from in a moment, are just embarking on a journey up to the northeast of British Columbia to begin a documentary on this fracking issue that you're going to hear about tonight. So that's where we're turning our lenses now, and we'll continue to cover these other issues as well. So it's kind of exciting. This is a fitting way for us to kick off that journey, and you'll be hearing hopefully lots more from us on this topic as we go forward. So thank you very much.